Hi, welcome to this webinar, which can convert your business model into successful business model. So here, me, Rahul Jain, and my dear friend, Mr. Tarun Pandey.
Hi, how are you, everybody?
So we are here to discuss about the business model. So expected outcomes of this webinar is like to understand what is business model, and also to apply in the creative businesses and professions. We'll also discuss some examples, case studies, which will help all of you to know about the business model and also to test your business idea, whether it can be converted into right kind of business model or not. So anything you want to share?
Yeah. I think we should just go ahead with the model, let them understand the model first, then we can tell them the applications, and then we can further take on the questions.
Right. So yeah, business model is like a kind of recite to your business. So I will ask you one question on this. That is, what makes pav bhaji a pav bhaji? Yes, sir. Can you give a guess on this?
Yeah,
What makes
pav bhaji? Because it is a pav and a bhaji. That is why it's a pav bhaji.
Yeah, it's right that pav bhaji contains both pav and bhaji, but it should also contain right kind of ingredients, which our mother or which our wives or which our friends, they can easily understand and they can do. So good recipe always creates good dish. In the same way, the business model helps in make or break the business.
Very good.
So that's why in today's webinar we will be focusing on different aspects of business model, and at the end of the webinar questions are also welcome. So what is the business model? As said earlier, that like business model helps in knowing about the blueprint of the business. It helps in knowing about the strategy, structure and processes of the business, which help in developing the business and also to grow and scale up the business.
Very true, because unless or until you have the right business model, the business will always be trying to find a way through. So apart from the business plan, the business model should also be identified through what you want to do with it.
Okay, yeah. So let's move to the next slide. We're just talking about, this is a classic example of disrupting the business model, disrupting the existing business. So we all know about Dell. So Mr. Michael Dell, who started this company in 100 square foot space of office, he really thought in a different manner. So rather than going into traditional way of having its own inventory and having its own warehouse and store, he started with an online business model where where this company took the orders on phone or internet, and then it contacted the manufacturers and filled the orders. What do you have to say about this?
I think Dell actually changed the computer business altogether. It actually changed it 360 degrees, to put it rightly. Because if you look at it, Dell is primarily working on the pull model. That as soon as you have a demand, you make a product. Something like what we do in McDonald's hamburger. Like unless or until there is an order for a hamburger, the person is not going to put the patty in the bun or the salad in the bun. So it is similar to what, and that means zero inventory. So the person is sitting on zero inventory and he is producing as much as the customer wants. And the most important part of this is he is producing the most latest and the most earlier, most up-to-date models. So that is the biggest advantage of a traditional manufacturer.
Yeah, it is like a kind of JIT concept, just in time, where the customer is giving the order and also customer can customize
Yeah, and in fact, they're just assembling the product. They are not even manufacturing. The parts are manufactured at other factories, and then they are brought into a Dell assembly, and then they assemble it. So it's a beautiful model where people are working on hourly basis. That in this many hours the inventory should be here. So this is what actually the business model of Dell, which is separating from the traditional manufacturer, and this actually gives them a headway.
Right, right. So it means that there is no one way of doing the business. There can be different ways of doing the business. It means we need, as a business person, we need to be dynamic. As an entrepreneur, we need to know about the customer needs. That's why the four main area of businesses which is covered by the business model is whom, that is whom we are serving, who is our customer, what's our closest target segment, what we are providing to the customer, what is the value proposition, what is kind of USP that we are providing to the customer, then how. So how we are connecting to the customer, like Dell was connecting with the customer, it started with the internet. And nowadays, if we see this kind of concept is applied by many e-commerce companies. If we take the case of Flipkart, if we take the case of Myntra, so they are actually extending this model. What do you have to say?
Yeah, it is very true, and it's what we are actually looking at is the dynamism of the model. Now, today, if you look at it, even the internet companies, they are moving into mobile telephony. Why they are moving into mobile apps? Because they feel now that is the next level of development. So again, it's a different channel altogether.
Yeah.
But they are focusing it now because they are saying that what is the value proposition will a customer have when we provide him an app, and in which he can easily download his the application and get the business online.
Right.
So that is another brilliant way of what are the way the person can actually do the business by taking any of the business model. And definitely all these four are very important because whom the customer is very important. What is the value proposition that you are offering? And channels. What are the channels? Is it online? Is it brick and mortar? Is it a mix? Is it a hybrid? Or is it something else? Is it the last mile? And what is the outcome or the returns that you are expecting out of it? So these are the very, very, very basic key areas of a business.
Yeah, when we talk about returns, it's not just about profits. Nowadays the concept of triple bottom line is becoming popular. So one has to take care of people, planet and profits so that business is sustainable and it is also helping society and all other stakeholders.
Yeah.
So let's move to the next slide. Okay, this is talking more about the customer segments and what we should look in and how we can create value for our customer segments. The idea of this slide is that our focus needs to be clear in terms of the group of customers that we need to identify. For example, Walmart. If we take the case of Walmart, Walmart's focus is clear. It is catering to the customers who needs value for money, who needs convenience. So the Walmart is providing such kind of products.
Yes. Here I would like to bring in another thing. In supply chain, we always talk about the responsiveness or we talk about the efficiency. So Walmart is a classic case of efficiency, and they're just focusing on that, and they're just the customer segment is also aligned to the efficiency model.
Right. So, now the next point that I want to discuss here is about value proposition, but can we discuss about the colors of the fish, which you can see?
Yeah, it is orange, green, and multicolored fish that we can see.
So how this green color is different from orange? It is actually focusing on that green is different from orange. So it means that our business model need to have some difference. So that customer can come back to us again and again. So nowadays it's a game of innovation. For example, iPhone. iPhone was the first product which was providing smart and other features to the customers. So I think you are a fan of iPhone.
Yes.
So can you share your experience of using this product?
iPhone is actually focusing on the customer interface.
Okay.
They want the customer to use their phone very easily. It should be friendly. It should be user friendly. That's the first biblical truth for them. And secondly, whatever the designs are there, it should be just customer centric. And that is what actually differentiated it from the other mobile company. So if somebody is an iPhone fan, he will always remain an iPhone fan because he knows that certain values is being delivered to him. and which you can say is a bundle of benefits.
Right.
So maybe it is very useful for him, but that is what iPhone has generated, and iPhone is a pioneer in that.
Correct. So yeah, I agree with you, and this point is very important, which is like sustaining that customer
Yes.
for a long term, and which these companies have shown, like the Apple, it has shown to how to connect with the customer and how to sustain that customer relationship for long term. And when we are talking about customer relationship and also about sustaining the customer for long term, channels become a very important part, because we are connecting with the customer through different channels. Like as shown in the slide, we nowadays we can connect in a multiple ways, right from email to mobile apps to physical distribution system, from wholesalers distribution to retail. We can have agents. So it depends on the product and also on the resources of the organization. Now, one case I want to discuss here is of Alan Solly. Like Alan Solly is brought in by Aditya Birla Nuvo in India by the Madura Garments. So it is actually, I was just visiting its website. It's like connected to many. It's connected to the customers in many ways.
Yeah.
It has just recently launched its own website where customer can easily shop through website. Apart from that, it has got its own exclusive brand outlet. It has got multiple brand outlet and their franchisees, licensees. So it is connecting not through Kismet connection, but it is connecting through karmic connection.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
I think I would like to bring in, that one thing is that in this case we have to evolve. Evolve in the sense, we have to think of channels which may be connecting our future customer, our present customer, and the customer that we want to bring in. Now, channels, if you look at Alan Solly, it's a traditional company, but which is also exploring other channels. So that means they also want to have more pie of the market,
Yeah.
which is actually, channels are going to bring in. Now, some of the companies may have different channel altogether, and some of the companies, like for even, I think one of the biggest example was this Snapdeal. Snapdeal is an online company, we all know that, but they have also bought in a stake at one of the TV companies.
Right.
And that is another very interesting thing. So that they also want to connect to those people who are actually just watching TV.
Yeah.
So they may not have access to the internet, but through TV they can also buy that. So
Right.
again, the channels are evolving, and some actually they might be a forward or they might be a backward integration of channels.
Correct. In fact, taking the same example, nowadays many online companies, they are also going to offline way,
Yes.
so that they can give touch and feel and also some convenience to the customers. So that's why we are talking about convenience here. And in fact, we should not just talk about convenience, we should talk about customer love.
Yeah.
Customer love we can create through customer relationships. And when we talk about relationship, it's all about feelings, emotions, and it's all about what kind of value, what kind of benefits we are providing to our customer. Like I want to discuss here one example, which is like ATM. Generally, ATM stands for, say, anytime machine. But here ATM is, this bank converted this ATM into anytime thanking machine. Where on a given day, this bank used to provide gifts to its customers as per the profiling of the customer. So customers were delighted, and customers were coming back to that bank again and again for different kinds of services. So, Tarun, what's your insight
I
on
think
it?
CRM is today the most important thing for any company which is into retail or services, because unless until they service their customers properly, the customers are not going to come back to them, because there are so many choices available to them. Now, obviously, what I feel, the ATM is a perfect example, but nowadays the ATM can be used in so many different ways also. Like I saw a Mother Dairy coming through, a lassi dispensing machine. So that can be also an example of an ATM. But again, they are wanting to serve their customers, but in a different way.
Right.
So they are bringing in fresh lassi and giving it to people through ATMs, and that is what the concept is. And they, although they are very well established, but they want to further their relationship. So they want to give something more to the customer. So I think that is what the future is going to be. Because if you want to sustain the customer interest, you have to have that perfect relationship with the customer.
Actually, I remember this Amritsar the lassi,
Yeah.
by this lassi thing. So we should always try to innovate, and we should actually nowadays it's an era of customer love. So we have to think how we can extend and enhance this delight, customer delight. For this, we need to use different kind of partnerships, resources, and activities, so that we can connect with our stakeholders in a right way. Now, if we talk about activities and resources, the resources can be divided into physical resources, monetary resources, and also human resources. And all these three play an important role. I will actually give a hierarchy to this. Maybe you can give your suggestions also. Like I will put people first, but it is the people who is running the organization. It is the people who is, it is the human resource which is deciding about different aspects of the business. And if we hire right kind of people, then we can actually take care of other resources and other activities.
Very true. Here I can bring the example of Tata's. Tata, the most important thing for them is the human resources, and they take a lot of effort and to train their people and to actually enhance their learnings. So which keep on once a Tata, always a Tata. So that is what the saying is, and they love to have that kind of a scenario where people are with them and they continuously contributing to the organization.
Yeah, Tata actually treat their employees as family members. And Tata is taking care of their employees, its employees in numerous ways.
True.
So we can see in any city there is Tata Hospital, and we can also see they are doing a lot of activities. For example, they started with Accelerate, with TISS to enhance the human capital. Not only of their company but also of the India and also of the and globally. Now but we need to take care of the revenues and costs.
Sure.
And but I would like to provide my insight here, which is like revenue and cost is the outcome of the activities and the resources deployed by the human beings and human resources. And the leadership has to play an important role to identify right kind of work for right kind of people, so that the costs are optimized and the revenues, there is a good amount of revenues. So as an entrepreneur, we need to be clear about our cost structure. So we can have fixed costs and variable costs. So fixed costs are those which remain static even if the level of operations remains same. For example, we can say rent. Rent is a fixed cost which doesn't change with the change in the level of sales for a certain time frame. On the other hand, say for a restaurant, the vegetables or the ingredients would be the variable costs. I always remember food examples because I am a foodie. But yeah, then we need to create a right kind of cost structure so that we can achieve early break-even and then we can maximize the shareholders' wealth.
I feel there that the first although cost and the revenues are one of the most important things, but when you are actually building a business, first of all you should be clear about the model, the activities as Mr. Rahul had said, and then those activities are going to bring in some kind of revenue and they are going to incur some kind of cost. So it is like that. So we cannot say that at the outset that the cost or the revenue is the most important or the first feature. It is always the model, business model, right? From creating value proposition. So we should always think in terms of what is the value proposition we are bringing.
Yeah.
So based on that value proposition, for example, if you look at a lot of IT companies, they never had any capital investment as such, but they always looked at human, and based on the human, they went on to create bigger organizations.
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect example of what your business model, when you create a right value proposition, can do for you.
Yeah, and in fact, when we talk about business model, it is also about what kind of passion the entrepreneur is having, what kind of value that entrepreneur wants to provide to the customers, and that will actually lead to right kind of business model, which can help in getting the right kind of cash flows. So that's why if we talk about revenue streams, we need to understand the point that Tarun was making about what kind of value we are providing so that our customer can give right kind of price to us. So, and we have to also think about future. In future, what can be the additional revenue streams that our business model can generate? Like we were discussing about iPhone. They generated an ecosystem. They generated the iStore where anybody can download, and the iPhone is generating billions of dollars through their application model.
Yeah. Closer home, I think MakeMyTrip is a perfect example.
Yeah.
MakeMyTrip actually just started with a travel portal where people could book tickets, but now they're giving you the complete package. So it's a complete package they're talking about, not just one aspect, and which is bringing in more revenue. The activities are the same. It is just the spectrum has increased.
Right. I agree with you, and here it's more of a creative process. Rather than seeing it as number crunching.
No.
Because creative process will help us in generating additional revenues, which can satisfy our stakeholders and the society. So that's why we have to take care of the business model canvas, which includes the aspects that we discussed earlier. And this is a famous business model canvas. The idea is to think about different variables affecting the business and then to develop a right kind of recipe, and then to grow and innovate that recipe continuously.
So I think this is the first step, apart from the business business plan, that one has to seriously think about what is the canvas he is looking at, what are the key partners, key activities, what is the value proposition is thinking about, what is the customer relationship he wants to have, what are the customer segments he wants to target, what are the channels he wants to choose. So all these things, when somebody sits and just work on it, will make your business plan so clear that you would know that okay, this thing will work or not work.
Right.
So I think Mr. Ostermodel has done a brilliant work of making this business model canvas.
Yeah, correct. Because this is actually helping an entrepreneur to transform the vision into life. Because generally, if we are not clear about business model, then our vision can just become a dream. It can just remain a dream. It may not be implemented into the practice.
No.
But business model helps in converting that vision into life. That's why let's discuss another example, which is more from your industry, which is like fashion.
Yeah.
So which we can discuss about Zara and how Zara has become a leader in this industry in a very short span of time. Yeah. So like few points which are discussed on the slide. Like one is about the markdowns. Generally, we think that if we give higher markdowns, more customer we can attract. But yeah, Zara is a kind of rule breaker, and it's not giving very high markdowns, but it's giving low markdowns. But it is focusing on the fast fashion, that is frequency of new product arrival is very quick. They change their merchandise every 2 weeks so that customers come again and again, and also can visit the store to have some new attractions. So it also changed its store layout. And any point that you want to make here?
Zara, according to me, is a company which is focusing heavily on technology. That is one thing. And through technology, they want to actually have the complete supply chain in their control. And the most important thing for them is the responsiveness. They want to be the most responsive company in terms of product delivery, so that any customer who comes to the store is actually wanting to buy the product because he or she is not sure that whether the product will be there in next 7 days. So they are actually creating a scarcity, which is further increasing their sales, and which is actually giving them more options for supply.
So I am visiting to Zara.
Very good, congratulations. But I think your wife would be more than happy to do that. But yes, Zara is a fantastic example of how you can actually thrive by breaking all the rules.
Correct. So as we are seeing on the slide, the customers are actually visiting 17 times in a year, rather, which is very high as compared to the average of 3 times. So this is actually showing about the innovation of the Zara and the business model which it has created on its own. So Another example which we want to discuss here is about the Jabong thing. Well, now because of this e-commerce is providing a lot of convenience, and we as a shopper, we prefer now shopping e-commerce, especially the products which are in form of electronics and books. But now there's one website which has actually changed the habits of the consumer is Jabong. Because earlier we were not thinking of apparel buying online, because apparel needs look and feel, it needs personal servicing. But Jabong is able to get very good customers because of different kind of benefits which it is providing. Yeah.
I think Jabong has broken the rule in terms of providing choices to the customer. And the biggest problem in the garment of the apparel is the fit.
Yeah.
So a person would always like to try at least 1 or 2 sizes before he makes a final decision. Now this was not possible with the online business, because once you purchase it, you have to either ban that product or you have to return it. But companies like Jabong and Mytra, what they have done is they are giving you options that you can actually have the product, try them on, and if you don't fit in, take it back.
Right.
So that has actually been a rule changer or a rule bender, I would say. And that is the model they are following, because that is actually giving that cutting edge.
Yeah.
So apart from the CODs and apart from the flexible payment option which everybody is trying to follow, but they have taken a lead in terms of providing more option to the customer. So the customer is willing to try. He is actually saying that, okay, give me more options and I will try it and I will pay you. Although the cost is huge.
Correct.
For any return.
Yeah.
But I think this is the cost of customer acquisition.
Like, and customer says always that ye dil mange more. So this is actually now these e-commerce websites and e-commerce companies, it is providing a lot of choices, and the leaders like Jabong, Myntra and other companies, they are able to do that because they have crafted their business model in a very creative manner. So they are getting resources from venture capitalists, which are providing huge resources to them, and then they are using those financial resources to provide wide assortment and also to provide other unique benefits to their customers. So one need to understand that aspect, that we have to craft our business model in a creative way, which can't be thought in a traditional way.
Right.
And it needs to be very dynamic. That's why if we go to the last slide of this webinar, it's clearly mentioned that there is not a single business model. There are a lot of opportunities. In fact, India is booming with a lot of opportunities, and we are in right now sweet spot. It depends on us how we capitalize these opportunities by right kind of business model, by our passion, and also by being dynamic and innovative.
Very true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I would now invite audience to ask some questions so that we can share our creative knowledge with you.
So I think we have one question here.
Yeah, so the question here is really interesting question. The question talks about what is the relationship between the break-even and the business model. And like we discussed earlier, the break-even is a point where there is no profit, no loss. So the company needs to recover its costs. But as said by my colleague, Mr. Tarun, that break-evens can fall. Break-evens we can achieve if we are having the right kind of business model. So we need to focus on the business model, and it also depends on the product, on the industry. The industry which is highly capital intensive will have high break-evens as compared to the industry which is into say less capital, but say it's more labor intensive, then break-evens can be low. Okay, any other question?
No, we had only one question this time. So thank you so much, all of you, and thank you for attending this webinar.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.